in this video, I'm just going to take the two things that I've already done, which is on the lower left-hand corner here, I made a repeat out of the Post-it note pattern. And then I have these 5 different textures that I'm going to try to play with in the repeat. One of the things I really want to remind you is that when you take a photograph of something, the scale will be different than if you scanned it. So I can show you that by taking, this texture here and just like I'm going over to the layers menu and I'm just going to drag the layer into another file so you can see the scale is huge compared to the other design. And so what we're looking for here is not a pattern on pattern, but a texture filling into the black and white of the pattern. So before I, define any of these as a pattern, I'm going to shrink them down. This whole thing is 35 inches. This whole thing is 45 inches. So I think I can reasonably rescale by going to image size all the way down to like 5 inches. Make a really small pattern, or I can do like 10%. So I've shrunk it down and I'm just going to drag it in again so you can see what we're dealing with here. It's like a nice texture in that field. So I haven't done it to all of them. I'm just going to do it to this one and then I'll do it as we go. I'm going to go to the pattern making part of this, meaning the pattern fill, and I'm going to select all. I'm going to say edit, drop down to define pattern. It's going to let me name it if I want to. You can do that or not. Important thing to remember is that it's stored on this computer and not every computer, just because you open your file in a different computer. So we always save the pattern files and swatches as we need them. So I'm just going to pull this out so we can see a little bit more of it. In this case, I can fill this. When I fill it, it's going to, either fill the black or the white. A problem that I came across yesterday when I was doing the demo is that suddenly the black and white fill of texture combined with the white of the other part of the design. And so I'm going to change something, but first I'm going to show you what I did yesterday. Like I'm using the selection tool here and I'm just selecting the black, and then I'm saying edit fill, and I'm going to select the texture to fill with. And you can see it's actually quite beautiful with that texture in there. The problem is now if I want to fill the white, it's also going to fill the white of the texture. So in order to fix that, I didn't do it yesterday, but I'm going to do it today. First, I'm going to select the black, and I'm going to make the black navy blue and fill it. Edit, fill with color, foreground color, right here. And then I'm going to make the white a different color, just so that I have the possibility of filling both with different textures. There we go. All right, so I'm actually going to save this so that I have it in these 2 colors moving forward whenever I try to do something. So I'm going to go back to the blue there, and I'm going to go back to filling it with texture. And go to the pattern thing and fill it here, right? Now I'm going to select the other color. I could also just say I want that the black area, the pink area to be black. But having it be pink and blue instead of black and white is giving me the option to do this. This looks really nice actually. But we're going to do another texture instead. So I'm going to pull up, and say I use this texture. I'm going to pull up a very different looking texture, this one here, and I'm going to resize it. So image size, I'm going to go down to, I think I did 5 inches before, so I'll do 5 inches again. I'm going to select all and define it as a pattern, and then it'll be the last pattern on that thing. I lost my other window, so I'm going to the drop down to find it. And I'm going to fill the pink. Edit, fill, I'm not using keyboard shortcuts just because I want you to see what I'm doing, but you should definitely try and get used to using keyboard shortcuts. And I fill that there. Now, it's not very obvious, even though they're two totally different textures. So another thing that you can do is you can invert the black and white. So in this case, I'm going to leave the selection on from when I was filling, and I'm going to go to Image, Adjust, and I'm going to invert it and see if it makes it more obvious. It's actually not making any difference. So when you're making your textures, I'm really hoping that you have like some darker, some lighter. If we look at what's happening here, we're going to see that most of the textures have the same balance of black and white. I think this one over here might, if I invert it, it might work better. So I'm going to try that. Image, Adjust, Invert. And that's probably going to feel darker than the other one. But what I'm interested in is seeing you try different things together, get comfortable filling with different patterns. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I want to see the variety anyway. Image size is going to be, again, bringing it down to something really small. I'm going to select all, edit, define pattern. It'll be that last pattern. I'm going to go to the arches and select the pink, edit, fill with the last pattern, and see how it does. It's still very hard to see. I'm kind of surprised. It's worth trying, and then it's worth sort of saying, all right, I'm not sure I want that. But I want you to try it, and then I also feel like you'll try things like a solid color, like I am doing here, to see how that reads, or going back to this and saying instead of filling the blue, I'm going to fill the other areas, and then trying to play with something like that or something like that. So just getting a feel for that contrast and adding texture, and maybe your textures will work better than the ones that I picked, or maybe there's just a flaw in that competing texture. But in either case, I'd like to see you trying to fill with them. I think that's it. Okay, so you're producing multiple versions for homework, and actually before I totally finish, I want to bring in this one, and instead of making it at 10%, I'm going to make it actually bigger, just to see if we can get some different looking results from it. So I'm going to say 10 inches. I'm going to select all. I'm going to bring back the arches, and I'm going to fill it. And I forgot to make the pattern. Sorry. I'm going to define it as a pattern. Select all, define pattern. And now I'm going to go to fill it. So what I'm doing here in this video is just experimenting because I don't know, and that's really what I'm trying to encourage you to do. That looks nice. Let's see what a smaller texture does with this. I think this one is the one I wanted to try. So there you get sort of like a subtle movement of it. It's different than having the entire thing be filled with one pattern. I'll show you the difference. It's different than that because it's actually getting broken up by that other movement. So it's quite beautiful and subtle. Something like this as a pattern is acceptable. This is literally just you experimenting with it. But I am gonna, you can stop watching at any point because I'm just doing experimenting now, but I'm gonna threshold this, and I'm to get the real black and white, and then I'm going to see what happens if I make it not black and white, but actually like tone on tone. So I'm going to do sort of like a neutral color, and then I'm going to select the inverse and do something same hue, but just a lighter tone, darker tone, something like that. And we're going to talk about recoloring, but just kind of getting a sense of like how you can change the depth of something with color. And let's see what you come up with, okay? Don't worry about color, just worry about black and white. Don't worry about filling everything. You can just worry about filling to get to the point where you like how it looks.